honeybees stress each other out.
Is it their noises?
Not really.
Is it their lack of personal space?
It's more, kind of.
Because they're all...
It's their pheromones.
That's their smells.
They're very close together, and they communicate through pheromones, right? Because they're very social insects.
Stinky. Wash. Have a shower, silly bee.
Stinky bee.
Stinky bees.
No, so they're very social, and they communicate through pheromones, which are, not overly complex. It's just kind of like emitting a stink, and then you get a feeling from that stink.
I mean, we communicate through pheromones probably a little bit as well, don't we?
We do, yeah.
Like if you're at a convention, you know who to avoid because they're the ones that forgot about deodorant.
Stink.
Yeah.
But we also have language.
Yeah. I use my nose more than I use my other
Mainly
ones.
pheromones then when we want, the details.
Yeah, I agree with you. Agree.
Thank you. I'll carry on.
Communicate the rest of this through pheromones, please.
Okay. So European honeybees emit alarming pheromones to warn their fellow comrade bees of parasites that are infiltrating the hive. Such an example of a parasite would be a one-celled fungus called, and I'm going to butcher this, Nosema ceranae, which sounds like a pasta dish, but...
Nosema ceranae.
Nosema ceranae. Creamy. No, it is a parasite, and it's very bad. It's basically the bee equivalent of like a tapeworm. You know where you get tapeworms?
I mean, I've never had a tapeworm, but yeah.
No, me neither, but you know how they go.
Yeah.
They make you like really hungry because you have to feed yourself and the tapeworm. Basically, thing...
How much does the tapeworm eat?
So
they're quite long. Not a whole lot, but it makes you hungry.
It's like eating for two.
Yeah, basically, but you basically are.
Well, I think it can make... Does it make you hungry or does it make you... I thought it made you nauseous.
So you can be both at the same time.
Yeah.
Probably also that. But you have to eat more.
Yeah.
They eat what you eat.
It's interesting.
Yeah.
You have to avoid alcohol. Is it like bad?
Well,
for the tape.
For
What?
the tapeworm.
For the tape.
No, like when you're pregnant.
You don't want the. You don't want the tapeworm.
Is it lactose intolerant?
Well, no. Wait,
Some
hold on.
babies can't deal with that.
Babies can deal with. Babies are the only ones that can deal with Let's
we'll
tell us about the bees.
Yeah, I probably will. Anyway, they get these parasites. They're basically tapeworms for bees. Not really, but kind of have the same effect. Makes you hungry, makes you sick, makes you vulnerable to toxins and viruses and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But overall, the parasites aren't actually that fatal to the bees. They don't kill them that much. However, despite that, it leads to a disease called nosmosis, which is linked as being one of the top reasons honeybee populations are declining. However, we don't exactly understand why that is yet.
I think I know where this is going.
Yeah. So this is where a lovely man from Philadelphia called Christopher Mayak comes in. He believed that the fungus might affect the social structure. Here's a quote. Subtle changes in behavior can be critical for the honeybees because they're so highly social. If their social harmony, really their functioning as a group, gets disrupted, it can cause colony collapse, meaning complete dysfunction of the hive.
What, as in like the bees with the tapeworm thing act different and that upsets everyone?
They basically act different. So
like you've changed.
This has been referred to. This is a term for over 10 years now. We've known this as colony collapse disorder, which was responsible for killing a third of the total bee population in the US in 2007 and 2008. Basically, when they get these parasites, they're like, I'm being attacked. And so they let off this pheromone that's like, I'm being attacked.
They get really defensive.
And so the rest of the bees go, oh shit, they're being attacked, right? And so they just go crazy and end up essentially killing themselves.
It's like if when you got a tapeworm, all you could do is just scream like,
yes.
I'm infected! I'm infected! And everyone would be like, oh man, I'm really stressed out because this person with a tapeworm will not stop screaming.
I've written this down as, it's the equivalent of like, a bee coming back to the hive with a parasite is like, have you ever seen like an apocalypse film where there's always that one guy running down the street going, run for your lives? It's basically just that. It's a bee coming back, letting off this pheromone that's like, get the fuck out! Get out!
Do bees have mental illness?
Probably, but there's no bee therapists.
Yeah. That's really upsetting. Yeah, maybe if they just had a bit of support, then this wouldn't be such an issue.
I know. NHS for bees.
More funding for the... Dr. Bees.
The BHS, the bee health service.
They'd have to have a PhD. Have a PhD.
Where has this conversation gone? Anyway,
away from the bees.
Away from the bees, clearly. Mike and his team wanted to learn more about the bees' pheromones and how they act during, the hive infection. I've called it a bee-demic.
Like a human demic.
Like a human
that we're
demic,
in
which
right
is definitely
now.
what we call them. So they vacuumed up 100 forager bees from 30 different hives, 18 of which were infected by the fungus. And then they use a form of spectrometry to measure the bees' pheromones and infestation level. So when they were compared against non-infected hives, the infected bees were shown to have much higher levels of a particular pheromone, which is usually produced when they feel threatened by large predators, such as humans.
It's like contagious anxiety.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, it's like what's that thing? Hysteria. Mass hysteria.
Yeah.
Mass hysteria. Hysteria.
Isn't that what...
We should have workshopped these before we came on, honestly.
Hysteria.
They also use this pheromone to mark flowers that they've recently extracted nectar from, which is unusual because it's the same pheromone as when they get attacked. So it's not very clear. It seems, this is what I've taken from it, it seems to be a pheromone that's just like, get away from here to other bees. Because the thing is with language, it's quite nuanced, right? We can put detail in language. With pheromones, it's just like one thing and it gives one feeling.
Mm-hmm.
Would that stop other bees getting nectar from that flower?
Yes, yeah. So it's basically like, I've been here, there's no nectar, go somewhere else. That's basically what it means.
Well, it's because they like, the thing is, you don't want to take too much. You don't want to take too much from the flower, because then the flower needs it to some extent, right? The flower needs all the stuff that you're taking. So
yeah,
you got it, and it's less efficient for bees to all go to the same flowers. So you just say, hey, watch out here. I've just done this flower. You go find another one.
So yeah, it seems that this pheromone has one job, and it's basically to say, don't stick around here. Whether it's like, there's no point, don't stick around here, or there's a large thing that's going to kill you, don't stick around here.
These are my parts.
Or when they come back to the hive with a parasite and they're like, you better not stay here.
Yeah.
And you're like, well, you're in the hive.
Yeah, go. You leave.
You leave.
You
You're
had
the
better not
problem.
stay.
You
Why
get
did you
out of
come
here.
back? Like, these bees are the equivalent of people that, like, in a zombie movie where someone gets bitten, but they hide that they've been bitten, right?
Yes.
And then they're like, you got to leave me. You got to get away from here. I'm gonna turn. It's like, you shouldn't have come back, bro.
You probably should have. Yeah, you shouldn't be in here.
Yeah, go.
This is
Look,
the
you
safe
go stand
area.
outside, and you can die out there.
Yes.
Right. We'll stay safe in our little
This is the thing, right?
zombie.
Zombies. When this pheromone is released in the hive, the bees demonstrate drastic changes in social etiquette. So they've been shown to, like what we've just talked about, quarantine each other in different parts of the hive, or just exile each other, or in the worst cases, kill each other, just outright kill each other. That's why this parasite is dangerous. Not because the parasite is dangerous, but because the bees end up killing each other.
I wouldn't kill you guys if you had worms.
Thank you.
Would
Thank
you kill
you.
me?
I mean, any excuse,
Depends.
mate. Any excuse.
You've had several opportunities.
Yeah, but none of them have felt right, Oh, wait till you got worms. Oh, we had to put him down. He's
just scooting around the place.
He kept on scooting.
This is making people uncomfortable.
And once they start scooting, that's it. It's too far
Once
gone.
to start scooting, you better start shooting.
No, that's a great story. I think it's really interesting, actually, looking at how other animals communicate, or how, kind of getting outside of our mindset of how we communicate, because we communicate often through like words and visual gestures as well.
Yes.
And thinking of other senses as being like primary ones for conveying information is really interesting, because you can convey a lot of information with smells.
Yeah.
Think of all the smells you know.
This food is bad.
So many.
Yeah, right? So many smells. And so, like, if you were just to utilize those, like, I don't know, the smell of cut grass means hello. You could do that.
I don't know where you're going with this.
I'm just saying, but it's like interesting, right?
Yeah, it just makes me think, like, where would my place be in a beehive? Like, what would my role be?
I mean, probably a drone, right?
Why drone?
Most chances are you're probably going to be a drone.
What are the
most bees are
options?
drones.
Well, what we do know is that bees generally, there's ones that go out and collect stuff. There's ones that are made just to have sex with the queen to create more bees.
The lucky bees.
And then there's the queen who just, makes the babies.
Just sits and eats grapes at the top of the hive.
Yeah, like that royal jelly. She sits and eats it.
Yeah, that's it.
Good. I'm glad we've got to the bottom of what bees do.
Yes.
Are we all happy with bees?
I'm quite satisfied.
Yeah.
I think it's quite interesting, because I was thinking about it. I was like, I think this is where humans differ from animals in a lot of ways. Because in the midst of a crisis, right? The bees go back to where they live and they just start freaking out to the point where they all kill each other. Whereas I think, especially what we've seen with the pandemic, is humans just like to maintain the social etiquette for as long as possible.
Yeah.
And that comes up in like COVID denial, like what we've seen.
Is that not what the bees are doing though?
I
I think
think they all freak out. Whereas they externally freak out, where we internally freak out. But on the inside, we're just like, no, everything's fine.
See, I don't know, because I feel like that's the same kind of mindset as a bee, right? You know, the people that are like going around not wearing masks? To me,
Yes.
those are the same people that are infected with like the same bees that are infected with a parasite and are like, well, I better go back to the hive and tell
Yes.
them blah, 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 and stress them out, you know?
Maybe that's where our colony collapse disorder comes in, because we freak out at people who don't wear masks and stuff. We're
Yeah.
just like, get them out. You're in
So-
danger.
So glad you can't smell my pheromones right now.
Yeah. The mask keeps them in.
That is it. That's actually why we're wearing masks. Have got nothing to do
Yeah.
with anything else other than stopping you from smelling pheromones.
It's to
That's
keep
what the
the
government.
pheromones
That's
in.
what the government doesn't want you to do.
We're all secretly bees on the inside. You pop us with a pin, it's just a bunch of bees.
It's just. If you enjoyed that clip, head over to patreon.com/Sci Guys, where you can find the full show. Or you can stay here and catch up on old Sci Guys episodes. Or you can follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at Sci Guys Pod to find out when we're doing more live shows.